Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. And peace and salutation to the elect of Israel. Now, real quick, I just want to share a video from this Edomite bitch, Megan Kelly. And it's about the Jakes that tortured and beat up the white man in Chicago and was yelling, fuck Donald Trump and fuck white people and all these different things like that. So I just want to play some of this video. You can look up the story. All you have to do is type in Chicago torture video. Supposedly they put it up on Facebook Live. But it's going to be a lot more things like this happening coming from both sides because we still have the race wars that have to pop off. So I want to play some of this video, then I'm going to bring out a scripture.
A man being held hostage and apparently tortured in Chicago. We warn you, it is disturbing.
Donald Trump, white people, boy.
No. Goofy. Motherfucker, what's up?
Oh, my sister said this not funny, y'all.
In moments, we'll be joined by David Wool and Richard Fowler with reaction. But first, we check in with Trace Gallagher, who has the new details on the breaking news. Trace?
Megan, police believe the victim, who is mentally disabled, a man that he knew and some others in a Chicago suburb, and that they drove him in a stolen car to the west side of Chicago, took him to a home, tied him up, taped his mouth, and began torturing him for between 24 and 48 hours. At least 30 minutes of the torture was streamed live on Facebook, and the woman who was taping acknowledges that she knows it is streaming live. During the video, which as you say is very hard to watch, they cut the man's clothing, saying they're going to get him naked and ask him to kiss the floor. Then they kick him, punch him, cut his scalp, and laugh about how much he's bleeding. Throughout the video, you can hear the four suspects go after Donald Trump and white people. Watch again.
Donald Trump, white people, boy.
Goofy. Motherfucker, what's up? Oh, my sister said this not funny, y'all.
Later, they asked the victim to say how much he loves black people. Police are now investigating this as a possible hate crime and a possible kidnapping. They also say it could be a case of young people making stupid decisions. Here's Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
It's sickening. It's sickening. You know, it makes you wonder what would make individuals treat somebody like that. You know, so I've been a cop for 28 years, and I've seen things that you shouldn't see in a lifetime, but it still amazes me how you still see things that you just shouldn't.
Officers found the victim distressed and wandering the streets of West Chicago. They say he's out of the hospital and is interviewed by detectives, but is having a very difficult time communicating. The four suspects, including at least two females, are all 18 years old. They remain in custody. Megan.
Thank you. Join me now, David Wool, who's an attorney and a Donald Trump supporter, and Richard Fowler, who's a nationally syndicated radio host and a Fox News contributor. Deeply disturbing, mentally challenged young man, tortured for a day? First of all, what kind of crimes are we looking at here, David, and do they include a hate crime, increase because of
the underlying
the
racial undertones and the language we heard?
Yeah, the underlying crimes, Megan, are kidnapping, torture, assault with a deadly weapon, false imprisonment, and probably several others. Now, what I found a little bit disturbing is the cops in a press conference said they're not quite sure if this was a hate crime. It's being investigated, and that's after viewing this video. Now, Megan, rest assured, if the races were reversed and they said that, they'd be fired the next day. I think Richard would agree with that. So what's going to happen here is they only prosecute it regarding the state crimes, and they leave the hate crime enhancement out. Don't forget who's going to be the Attorney General of the United States in a couple months, Jeff Sessions. I guarantee you he takes this very seriously. This could easily turn into a federal civil rights prosecution along with several other piggybacking federal crimes, and the hate crime would definitely be included. So they need to take this very seriously. They can't allow political correctness to dictate the prosecution here.
I don't know, Richard. That's obviously a legal call. I know you're not here to play the role of legal analyst, but What do you make? I mean, a hate crime is you get an aggravation when somebody's committing the crime based on race, and in that tape we hear them say F white people.
No, I think this is a hate crime. I don't care what race you are, and that's why we have hate crimes in this law, and folks like Joe Biden have worked night and day to keep those laws. And I think, so politics aside here, this video is disgusting, and I think we as a nation have really got to sit down black, white, yellow, blue, orange, purple, and have a conversation about how we really come together, how we come together, Christians and Muslims and Jews, and all have this.
All right, man, that's all I'm going to get on that video. But as you see, they already talking about Trump bringing in Jeff Sessions, so he gonna slaughter those the jakes that did the video. He gonna slaughter them. They probably gonna get 20, 30 years or maybe 50 years or something like that. But you see, the media pushes these things out because at the end of the day, it's the elites that's pulling the strings, that bring up a man like Donald Trump and have him acting the way he acts, that puts out videos like these, who stirs up the Black Lives Matter, because they got a job to do too. They're going to fulfill prophecies. This is just another step closer to the race wars that will happen, I'm almost certain, when Trump is in office. This is just another step toward the race wars, and I just want to bring out this scripture real quick. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So soon you're going to have these, right? That scripture has to come to pass. And the whole racial dynamic has gotten even heavier since Trump took office. And you got videos like this. These damn jakes torturing and beating a white man. These Edomites, these low-level Edomites that's not in the know, they outraged at this. These are not the elites, but these lower level Edomites see shit like this and they get enraged. And they ready to unleash hell when Trump gets in office. And you got Jakes who getting riled up, especially in Chicago. Them niggas up there, they live wise, they ready to pop off at any moment. But things like this is going to lead to the race wars that have to come to pass because it's a prophecy. So just pay attention, man. This is one of the first signs of the race wars. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.